I want to give all praises and honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well. Salutations to the occupant of four winds, preaching the truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. Shalom. This is your brother Ram Yahawada with the lesson. Yeah, so this is the Guardian. It says America dirty divide, right? And America is divided more than ever, You got the so-called right against the left, or the Democrat against the Republic, which really those people are the actual Democratic, the actual Republican are not really against each other. They're setting up a narrative to put you regular so-called American people against each other, right? Because they're ready to get in those bunkers. They're ready to go into, what is that thing, the Cheyenne Mountains, right? They're ready to get put into Elon Musk's outer space ships or whatever the heck they're going to do. They're going to get out of here. You people, they're not really worried about. They're setting up the narrative so you can't fight, so you don't know what's going on. You're finna be a project. You're gonna be a product of Project Bluebeam, man, and you're a product of it too. But it says revealed the U.S. is averaging one chemical accident every 2 days. So this is what they're saying after this so-called chemical spill in Palestine, which I don't think that's a coincidence that they want to make sure that it was the Palestine, right? Which is they do things through code, right? Right, and it's threatening the water over there, right? Yeah, so this is a World Socialist website. This is a firefighters attempt to put out a toxic fire at a plastic plant in Brunswick, Georgia. It says a fire broke out early Saturday morning in Brunswick, Georgia. Facilities that manufacture rosin and polyterpene resins. It was later put out only to reignite later in the day, facing evacuations of residents in the area. So this is the second industrial fire in a week in the United States that forced the evacuation of local homes on Tuesday. A recycling facility in Richmond, Indiana, burned, forcing residents to evacuate as burning plastic released plumes of toxics into the air. Right? A series of dangerous chemical fires, explosions, and other deadly industrial accidents have taken place in the United States in the aftermath of February's derailment. Right. Right, right, right. Derailment and toxic chemical spill of a Norfolk Southern train in East Palestine, um, Ohio. On so, but just all of a sudden, all these things just take place after this. This thing that happened in Ohio on March 28th. A chemical spill in Brin, Brinzel or Britzel, Pennsylvania, leaked about 8,100 gallons of was it latex em, em, elimination products into the Delaware River, threatening the water supply of Philadelphia and the surrounding areas. On the same day, a chocolate factory in the West Reading, Reading Pennsylvania, exploded due to a gas leak, killing 7 workers. Wow. Hey, and none of you Americans, all right, none of you Babylonians, none of you, uh, uh, you pagan Christians, right? As Apostle Hart coined it, you pagan Christians are taking any real consideration to this. You just went and celebrated Easter bunnies and all this type of stuff. Why your whole thing is collapsing? It's not because before it was all these goddamn places that have chickens and you know meat supply places and all this other stuff, man. America's finished, man. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna come down right here. Still the same thing as the article, which is the Guardian, theguardian.com. I'm just skipping down right here. It says in the 7 weeks of 2023 alone, there was more than 30 accidents record by the coalition to prevent chemical disasters. Right, which they're not doing a good job because guess what? Obviously, things are happening. They're not preventing a thing. Right, roughly one every day and a half. Last year, the coalition record 188, up from 177 in 2021. The group had tallied more than 470 accidents since it started counting in April of 2020, right? Which they didn't start counting all of a sudden in 2020, like the brother said, devil also means, categorial, even though it means accuser, right? It also means that they go into being what? To categorize, right? And it's funny that they were this thing, so called this, whatever this is, starting around what time of the, what? The Crown V, the Crown Vicky, right? So now they're showing you all these things from the time they're burning down all the freaking factories and all these different things, right? It says the accident logged by the coalition ranges widely in severity, but each involves the accidental release of chemicals demand to pose pose potential threats to human and environmental health. So, and then right here they got, of course, you've been seeing it a while. I'm gonna try to blow it up a little bit. And these are the things that these devils are doing. They playing a very dangerous game that they're gonna lose. You're gonna lose the war. Well, you already lost the war against the Taliban. 20-year war. They took back the streets in a week. 20-year war, several trillions of dollars later, and they took back in a week with probably hardly no money. A couple of clothes on their back and a couple of bullets, and it's ridiculous. You're gonna lose against Russia, you know, Gog and Magog. You're gonna lose against Moab, which is the Chinese, right? And then ultimately you're gonna collab together with them, and then you're gonna lose against Yahweh Shai, man. You're gonna lose against Yahweh Bashim Shai. So you pagan Christians, right? Because you're not real Christians, and really Christian meant to be derogatory. It was nothing that people were like, "Hey, I'm a Christian." You know why? Because you would have been ostracized. You probably wouldn't be able to get a job. You probably wouldn't be able to work as you know, as a Roman. Like a Roman centurion, police officer, military guy. You wouldn't be able to do. There would be a lot of things you wouldn't be able to do. And if you did it, you had to do it in secret, right? Yeah. So America, just like it. Clear my voice real quick. But yeah. So America got to be destroyed, right? Because simple thing. They're saying that they're you know, you wish people, right? They're saying that they're Christians. They say they're Bible believers. They believe in the Word of God, right? But what do the Word of God say? Right here, so this is Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. And God, right, which they just blatantly just say, and that's not the Lord's name. That's an attribute. God really goes into just Elohim, right? Which basically means angels, plural, right? That's not talking about the power, the Most High. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the form. It says, and the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh, thy power. Right? That's how that's how it's supposed to be. Which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Who did he bring out? The Israelites, man. The Israelites were the ones, the nation that the Lord was interested in. Were there a so-called mixed multitude that went with them? Yeah, sure. But that mixed multitude got killed in the wilderness. They were dead. The Lord killed them in the wilderness. They didn't go into the promised land. Matter of fact, even Israel, the first ones that came out of there. You're talking 40 years. 40 years of allowing Israelites to die off in the wilderness before actually even going into the promised land. Right? So, and then Israel was still hard-headed, right? Because they still wasn't circumcising themselves, right? So, what other people is the Lord talking about, right? So it says out of Egypt, and what that modern day Egypt, right? That spiritual Egypt is what America. That spiritual bondage is America, man. And the Lord's trying to bring you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, out of this house of bondage. But a lot of you don't want to pay attention. You don't want to. But then nor do the Lord want you sometimes. You know that at the end of the day, let's just put it that way. Maybe the Lord just don't want you, or you better pray that you know what I mean, the Lord has mercy on you out of the house of bondage, right? Thus shall have no God before me. And that's just the ultimate thing why America sent it their Bible believers that they do. And this is the point that I was trying to prove. You know, that thus shall have no other God before me. And what have America had, man? You have the Queen of Heaven. You have you know, Ashtar and and you know, Satan, right? Yourselves. You know what I mean? So you have another God before the Lord. So that's why the Lord is allowing these things to happen. Even though you think you're doing it to yourself, the Lord is putting it into your mind to cause all these chemical spills. Right? Yeah, so this is Exodus chapter 20, verse 25. And if thus will make me an altar, right? And that's ultimately what America is stating, you know. In 83 or 84, when President, what was it, Reagan, whatever, made this a God-fearing Bible nation, right? Which I mean, which you've been saying that. You've been saying that the Ku Klux Klan, all that, saying that you're the Christians. You think that you're the Anglo Saxons, when Anglo Saxon means angelic sons of Isaac, and that's something you're not, man. You're not the seed of Isaac. You're not the seed of Abraham. Well, no, I guess you are the seed of Abraham, but you're not the seed of Isaac, nor the seed of Jacob. Right? At the end of the day, right? You're the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, right? And not Jacob. And if thus will make me an altar, and that's what ultimately America's going to be, and that's what you tried to say, that you're a Bible believing, thumping nation. But look what's going on. Of stone, thus shall not build it of hewn stone. And what have you did? You've murdered and killed the Native Americans. You hewn down their stones, right? These, first of all, they being Israelites, they're lively stones, but you also knock down their castles, their forts. You knock down their living quarters, and then you turned around and then built your own basically city or nation or whatever you want to call this, which really it's a city state, right? Really, this is just a corporation. It's a city state, right? Right? And it's not a real country. So what it says, if thus lift up thy tool unto it, right? And what's your tool? What's America's tool? Illuminati, right? Thus has polluted it, right? You lifted up the Illuminati, man, right? This is actually talking about Israel, but you saying you want to be Christian, you want to be the Jews, but this is what the Lord said. This is what the Lord said if the Jews do this, man, and that's the things you've done. Neither shall thus go up by steps. Neither shall thus go up by steps unto my altar, that thy nakedness be not discovered thereon. And but guess what you have done? You went up to the altar. You basically portray yourself as God, right? So you're being discovered, right? Yeah. So this is Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 2. Lift up thy eyes unto the high places and see where thus has not been lain with, right? So that's America. Ultimately, you're saying that you want to be the Jewish, you want to be the Christian, you want to believe in the Bible. Ultimately, what? These are the curses that the Lord said would happen to His people if they was given a not a good sacrifice, not a good a sacrifice on the altar, right? Right? Not being righteous people, and America's filled with wickedness and unrighteousness, right? See who you have not lain with, right? All the gods are here in America, from Babylon, from Egypt, Canaan, right? It says in the ways thus has sat sought for them as the Arab in the wilderness, right? Because Arabs are supposed to be known as nomads, but so is Israel. But you know, they're going into, just saying Arabs are known for being nomad. They go around looking for what they call oasis. They're known for that, right? So you're like going around looking for God, to God, did all these different things, except for the one true God. But America set up that way. That's why you got Christmas trees and Easter bunnies, and the Queen of Heaven, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. You know, right? Which pretty much every day is the Queen of Heaven Day. If you're not celebrating homosexuality, right? Which that's a man can dress like a woman, which is drag, which is homosexuality, which is ultimately whoredom, right? And thus has polluted the land with thy whoredom. See, and ultimately, that's at the end of the day, that's what you have done. You have polluted the land of America with whoredom, right? All sorts of debaucheries, and with thy wickedness, right? All thy witchcrafts and all these different things, man. And you think it's not gonna fall, right? Even the self-induced things, like we know a lot of these factories are burned by the government, but it's not helping your cause. It's not helping you at all. Like, I don't know what you're doing, but hey, all call all you Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, let you burn down more factories, man. Therefore, thus therefore the showers have been withholden, right? So look, what's been happening to the crops of America? You ain't been getting good crops, and like I said, self-induced with a lot of the stuff, but you haven't been getting good crops. Why? You haven't been holding the land Sabbaths. You haven't did there's a lot of things, but ultimately overall is what your wickedness, man. To the Lord hold back the rain. What are you going into droughts right now? There's not enough water in California, Arizona, Colorado, all these different places. Nevada, no water. Right? Pretty soon. And there, thus has been the latter. And there has been no latter rain, Salakia. And there has been no latter rain, right? There ain't been no rain. Thus has has a whore's forehead, right? And that's ultimately what you have. You have a whore's forehead. And thus refuse to be ashamed, right? And America refused to be ashamed of what? Rape, rob, and murder of the so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics, so-called African Americans, which are really Judah, Issachar, or the other tribes, Issachar, Naphtali, you know, Ephraim, Manasseh, right? Gad. You're ashamed to tell the truth that we are those people. You're ashamed to tell the world about your dealings with the slaves, man. That's why it took more than 100 years to know about what is it Black Wall Street, and then you still got the one from Philadelphia, which was recent within my lifetime period that you dropped bombs on in Philadelphia in a neighborhood that was thriving in the 80s. So not long ago. So that means you're a bloodthirsty devil, man. You're wicked, right? And you ain't ashamed of it. But somehow you're supposed to get grace and mercy and love and God and this and that, right? Even those people that say, "Oh, I was never a slave. I never owned slaves. Yeah. But look what happened. What about the people who lived in Philadelphia? The white folk that live in Philadelphia, when they dropped that bomb on that black neighborhood, that thriving black neighborhood in the 1980s. Why ain't you crying out? Where's your cry out? Oh my God, this is horrible. I've never even heard about it until recently in my life. And they still don't really talk about it. They're not pushing it like they push Black Wall Street, right? They're not even pushing Black Wall Street like they really should be pushing all these different places, Rosewood and all these other places that they had destroyed because Israel, right? To be honest, was doing better than them. Yeah. So this is Numbers 35 and 31. Moreover, right? Ye shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer which is guilty of death, right? They're guilty of putting someone to death, man. And your George Washington's, your Abraham Lincoln's, your what is it Alexander the Great, your Christopher Columbus. It's all guilty of what? Murder, man. Putting plenty of Israelites to death, man. Right? And this is a verse really actually talking to Israel, but you like to put yourself in that place of being, Bible believers, or you wish, or you're Christian or whatever. Which Christian is meant to be a derogatory term. It's not nothing you're supposed to put on yourself as far as like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? They were despised, man. Right? So if you was a Christian in that day, you snuck in, bought what you needed to buy, and got out without really, guess what? I'm a Christian. Have you heard the good news of Jesus Christ? They would have put your ass to death, man. Especially talking about some Jesus Christ, man. Nobody know who the hell that is, man. That shit don't even exist, man. I don't even think saying Jesus is actually even Greek. I don't know what the fuck that would be, man. At the end of the day. But you've had the satisfaction, right? And all your so-called leaders and stuff like that. But he shall be surely put to death, right? And America is going to surely be destroyed. Whether you're doing the self-inflicting or the Lord's going to do it. Either which way, it's all part of Yahweh Shem Shai's plan. And ye shall take no satisfaction in him that flee to the city of his refuge, that he should come again to dwell in the land until the death of the priest, right? And ultimately, like I said, this is really talking about Israel. But you set up your own laws, right? You deemed yourself to be white. Self-proclaimed so-called white people, man. was it 18 or 1782 or something like that, or 18, right? In your own courts, right? You declared yourself to be white. So that was your way of having refuge. That was your way of slaughtering us and calling yourself not guilty, right? Because you put yourself above all that is called God. You sit in the seat or in the temple as if you're God, right? Because you're in the Holy Land, and the Lord said the Israelites will not be in that land until He put them there, until it's thriving, until the places that don't have water will have water, man. To the Lord causes the world and all the kings of the world to meet Him at the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, man. That hasn't happened yet, man. So how are you in that land? Where's King David? Right? Where's the tabernacle of David? Where's the throne of David? Right? Because you should be talking about, right? You should be talking about David. David should be there. Now you're talking about you got a Messiah, some makeshift Messiah all of a sudden. But if you had a Messiah, your Messiah don't got no answers, right? They shot a couple of missiles through your your Iron Dome, and a couple of them got through, like at least two of them. So your Iron Dome ain't even nothing. Your Messiah is nothing. Your Iron Dome is nothing, right? So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, right? And that's what you done, man. In America, in the land of Israel over there, you polluted the land. All around the world were all you heathens, right? But especially you Edomites, man, right? Starting with Amalek. You have polluted the land. You've been the world's enslavers, man. The world's murderers. For blood, it defileth the land. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it, man. So ultimately, what? Self-induced or not, you're gonna have to meet your maker, right? Which is Yahweh Shai. We're when we're saying we're gonna do it, it's not saying we're gonna do it technically, but it's gonna be Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai is gonna destroy you, right? Defile not therefore the land which ye shall inhabit, which is too late for you. You've been defiled it. You've been had Pink City. You've been had gay parades. You've been celebrated and was satisfied with the murderers. So this the Lord was talking to Israel, telling them what to do to not to pollute the land. But what have you done? Pollution, 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 right? Even those fires, right? You want to burn down a chocolate factory here, a factory that has chickens here, a factory that has cows or beef here, and a thing that has pork here. Okay, well you're really depleting the people, right? For one, and then what are you doing? You're polluting, man. Right? Defile not therefore the land which ye shall inhabit, wherein I dwell, for I, Yahweh, dwell among the children of Israel, man, and not the whole world, man. So he was never dwelling with you, even though, was it Reagan declared America the Bible a Bible nation in 83 or 84. So you took on this thing that had nothing to do with you. But you want to be the Israelites, guess what? You have to be accountable for those things that the Israelites are accountable for. And what have you done? You polluted the land with blood. You murdered the Native Americans. You murdered the so-called, the Gadites, the so-called Mexicans, which are actually Issachar, the so-called black man, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, who you thought, and then some of them were actually Gad too, right? Mixture, right? Because they did that during slavery, right? And through slavery, what? They scattered us among all nations, man. Yeah, so this is Psalms 106 and 37. Yea, they sacrificed their sons and daughters unto devils, right? And that's ultimately what happens every day here in America. So, you burning down your factories and this and that, making it seem like an accident or whatever, however you want to make it seem. I mean, this is things that you've been doing, because basically that's what you're going to do. You're sacrificing your this American citizens unto devils, really, right? Hoping this could be like a great sacrifice, right? And shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and their daughters, whom they sacrifice unto idols of Canaan, right? And what is America, man? America is spiritual Canaan, man. Right? America is spiritual Canaan. Right? And the land was polluted with blood. See? And ultimately, that's what you've been doing, man. You've been polluting the land with blood, all sorts of different things. And now you're hoping you could give up, the citizens, your own fellow Edomites, right along with everybody else. And you're hoping that's going to be a good enough sacrifice unto the devil, right? Which actually works for the Lord. And he's telling you to do this, man. He's actually telling you to do this because really that's the sacrifice for the elect. Thus was they defiled with their own works. And that's ultimately what you're doing, man. You're defiling yourself with your own works. Yeah, this is talking about the Israelites. This is the thing that came and passed and actually still happening, man. Israelites are here in America, Babylon the Great, under the devil. That's leading them to a thing where they're defiling themselves all over again, worshiping those gods of Canaan, where the Lord said not to do. But so are you. You said you're a God-fearing nation, but what do you do? You worship the God of what? Of what is it? ISIS and Horus. You worship what is it? Nimrod. And his mother, right? You worship what is it? The Talmud. You know what I'm saying? You worship Ishtar. All these different sun gods. Moon gods. Right? All these different things. So it says, thus were they defiled with their own works and went a whoring with their own inventions. And what? Your own inventions is what? Now you could be God. You could create the MOTB. You can create the grain of rice. And actually you got one that's even smaller than a grain of rice, right? You got something smaller than a grain of rice now. Right? But regardless, you got the digital all. And these are your inventions, man. Your inventions are to deceive the people. Project Bluebeam, all these different things, man. You have created to deceive the simple. But guess what? The elect ain't going to be deceived, man. It says, this is Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. And the nations were angry, and they were wroth, and thy wrath is come, and the time of death, right? Yeah, because you're about death, man. You're about killing, and the time of death that they should be judged. They should be judged, right? So really, the Lord is setting up your judgment. while you're coming down with great wrath, knowing that you got but a short time unto the children of Israel, the Lord's setting up your demise, right? It says, and thus shouldst give reward to thy servants, right? The elect, man. The servants, the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, right? And you don't fear the Lord's name. That's why you do what you do. Small and great, and shouldst destroy them which destroy the earth, right? Because you're willing to destroy your own people. You're willing to destroy America. You're willing to do all these different things in order to get it your way, right? And it's not going to be sufficient for you, because all you are about are polluting the mines, polluting the land, polluting the air. Everything you do is all pollution, man. Your philosophies are pollution, right? Everything you do, what hurts the earth, man. And the earth is in groaning, man. Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 8, verse 20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, man. And this is talking about Israel once again. But so are you. If Israel, who the Lord chose, who said, only you have I known of all the families of the earth, I only know you. Right? So you think that he sent his only begotten son, which is an Israelite, to say, yeah, I allowed you to die so I can know a people I never knew. Ever at all. When repent means to redo. Right? You want to build a house up again to to restore or restorate means to restore, man, to do again. Take the same old house, the frame, everything. You just rebuild it. You just putting new things in it, which the Lord's going to put the laws and the statutes in our heart. He's going to do it all anew, do it all afresh, man. Kainos, right? That's what you like. They like to go into Greek, but they don't like to go into kainos, right? Which means to renew, a refreshing, right? Not willing, but by reason of him whom had subject the same into hope, right? And you have no hope. This is really for the Israelites, but you have hope in that your NWO is gonna be successful. You have your hope in Satan, which actually works for the Most High. You have your hope in wickedness. You have your hope in exalting yourself above all that is called God, especially Yahweh Shai, right? By Xing them out, which is basically blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. So you cannot be saved. There's no forgiveness for blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, which Esau has done that. So you have no hope. But because the creature itself also shall be delivered, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption, which that's talking about us. That's the elect. Lord willing, that I'll be part of that number, into the glorious liberty of the children of God. And you're not a children of God, man. You're not the original seed line of Adam, which they prove when you go into the scriptures in Matthew's and in Luke, proves the lineage of Yahushua all the way back to Adam, man. For he shall die for his people for their sins, man. And the only ones the Lord gave the laws to were the Israelites, man. For we know that the whole world, the whole creation, the whole creation, right? Everything that's in existence, even you Edomites, because you got your own Edomites, especially your women. Your women are tired of you. Groaneth, man. The trees are groaning. birds, the bees, the whole earth, the whole earth, the whole creation, the little gnats, you know, they flying at you, and you don't like the gnats, but even the little gnats are groaning, man. Groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. Why? Because the Edomites are in rulership, man. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, man. He covered the face of the judges thereof. If not, where? Who is he, man? Who is this devil, man? Who is this guy that's running the earth? If you so-called a Bible thumper, you believer, man, who is this guy, man? Who is this guy? And it's not just a guy. You know that it's talking about a nation. It's not just talking about one person. It would be impossible for one person to pull that off, right? They would have some type of leak, some type of thing, and even now they do. You know what I'm saying? Their tongue should fall upon themselves. But they've done this so much that you people are simple, man. But not only they, but all ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit. Yeah, because we fell into sin, and we fell into the witchcraft. We fell into the bewitchment, right? You know, even like John did. John looked at it and, oh dang, look at this one. He said, hey, what do you, the angel came to, hey man, what are you looking at? What you looking at that hoe for? She's the one who set up Israel, destroyed them, and then accused Israel like it was their fault. To the Father day and night. After rape, rob, and murder. Right? Even we ourselves groaneth within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to with the redemption of our bodies, man, because our bodies is groaning, man. They didn't put AIDS out there, HPV. They didn't put all sorts of things that make you get cancers and ulcers and things like this, man. Right? Things in the ozone layer. All sorts of things, man. All sorts of pollution. Gay frogs. All sorts of craziness. All in the soil. The soil that they put the food with made frogs gay. Now they using that same soil to send for you to eat. And now they're telling you just to eat bugs. Eat food made off of some type of, I don't know what you call it, a Peachtree plate or whatever plate from a scientific lab, man. A biological, scientific meat, man. Right? Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15. Behold, the nations, right? All you other nations, if you're not the Israelites, all you other nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as the small dust of the balance, right? So if you had a balance of scale to weigh out money, because that's what you used to do, you weigh out money, right? You know, versus what you're paying for, right? And there's just dust on it. Dust is not going to move it, right? Which dust is counted for nothing. Behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. He taketh up the isles, right? All these little islands, the little pieces, the little people, you know, whether if it's a big nation, a small nation, little teeny little island somewhere, another place somewhere else. Yeah. As a very little thing, like it's nothing. It's not a big deal. And Lebanon, see, this is what you're ultimately trying to do. You're trying to sacrifice your own fellow Edomites and America in the hopes that your NWO would your enterprise will continue. But it's not going to continue. It says, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beasts thereof sufficient to burn offerings. For it's like Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof, right? Because that's what you're gonna ultimately do. You're destroying the beast. Now there's now the so-called the carbon footprint of a beast is the worst thing that's going. And now you're trying to get rid of the animals, so there's no food for the American people to eat or to survive on. And if there is, you're trying to make them to be into a zombie deers or whatever you did to the deers or whatever. You know what I mean? But that's because the earth isn't groaning. There's a zombie deers, man. Neither a beast, because that's a defiled beast now. You got zombie deers. You got animals. You got cows that got freaking 5 legs here, and you don't put them to death like the Bible tell you to. You got what's hermaphrodites or whatever. Person born with both part, and you don't put them to death. This is a defiled place. You're gonna give a defiled sacrifice, man. That's why it's not sufficient. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering, man. It's not sufficient. And that's ultimately what you're doing. You're trying to kill the animals, the birds, the trees, your own Edomite citizens, the Israelites. Hopefully you can just kill us all. And then you know what? There you go. And now your enterprise can keep on going. But it ain't gonna work. You're gonna get destroyed.